yeah, it made no difference to my revenue, no difference to my followers. It was up on her story for 24 hours and she got a decent amount of money from me for that. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Yeah, live and learn. Hello, so my name is Courteney and I am the owner of Wild Violet Clothing. So this is my first ever YouTube video and my channel is basically just going to be about how I run my business and just the behind the scenes of the clothing brand so people can get to know it a little bit better. So this first video is just going to be a quick Q&A and kind of breaks the ice a little bit and enables me to be able to share some of the questions that you have asked me through Instagram. So here we go. Also, just FYI, I have non-copyright music in the background because the thought of sitting here in silence and having no music on just really didn't excite me, so that's why that's there. So the first question I was asked was, how do you get your deliveries out so quickly? So basically, I don't think it's rocket science to get your deliveries out quickly. Well, I've actually watched a couple of people who have their own small business on YouTube, and while they're doing their day in a life vlogs, they'll have orders come through on the website, and then so yeah, we usually just leave these for two or 3 days, and I just don't understand that. Like, it takes 2 seconds to package the order and get it sent out to someone, so I just don't see the point in sitting on an order. I just want to get them out as quickly as possible. Usually as soon as I get an order through, I will just prepare it straight away, and within Dundee and Angus I have a local delivery driver who does the deliveries for me, so shout out to Lauren. But yeah, it's really not rocket science. Next question I was asked was, how did you decide you want to open your own business and what way did you go about it? So I'll do these in 2 separate questions. So I decided purely based on the fact that I had been working since I was 16. I started off as a visual merchandiser, and then from the age of 18 I was a manager, and I just worked really hard for those companies and basically treated my job as if I owned the company. That's how hard I worked for them. So I kind of got sick of not being appreciated, not having my ideas listened to, and not being able to have the power of just making a decision without someone above me. Even though I was a manager, I still had managers above me. But yeah, I just didn't feel like I was going to progress. Pretty much all of the companies that I worked for, it was all men as well that were in charge at the top, and they seemed to like promoting men rather than women to do the big jobs. So I just kind of wanted to get out of that environment, and I was actually working in menswear, and I missed women's wear a lot, so I just wanted to do what I loved, and there's only so much passion you can put into menswear when I don't wear the clothes. Yeah, my main reason basically was the fact that I was doing all of these things for someone else to get more money in the pocket. And I knew that I could do it on my own and just put all this effort in to actually get somewhere in life and try and progress without being micromanaged by people. So that's basically how it started. So the way I went about it was basically just doing as much research as I could possibly do. I would sit, while I was still working for Jack and Jones, I would sit in the cafeteria on my lunch break and just scroll through Google, literally anything that I could find. So I would look up what packaging bags are called, I didn't know what mailers were called, like how to start your own website, like do you need a web designer, literally anything you can think of I was typing into Google. And yeah, my sales actually kind of started dropping at Jack and Jones then because I was more focused on that. I then basically found a business advisor that I set up a meeting with. That was literally just to get some sort of confirmation that I wasn't reaching for the stars too much. When you don't have any money and you don't come from a family that can fund your business for you, you have to think, am I being realistic here? So that was basically just for facts and figures that I went to the meeting with, and she suggested that I write out a business plan and also a cost sheet. So that's what I done, and it was a really, really detailed business plan. It was probably like 24-25 pages long. It took me weeks to complete, and the same with the numbers. It took me weeks. Once I had my business plan done and dusted and had a clear mind of where I wanted the business to go, and I basically started up the social media accounts and just followed as many people as I could. I did not mean to do that. Just followed as many people as I could possibly think of. So I think I started out with the most of Dundee, and then I followed a lot of people from just around Scotland and England to start off with as well. And then I got to a point where Instagram was limiting the amount of people I could follow, so I could only get so much. But I just wanted to make sure I had an audience before I started selling any products or even made a website, because what would be the point if I had no audience to target my products to? So that's my advice. If you're going to start your business, make sure you've got an audience before you start getting your products. Once I was happy with the amount of followers that the page was getting back, set up a launch date and made sure that I advertised it on Instagram mainly, with Facebook as well, and got flyers and all that kind of thing made, and was just passing them out to people just so people knew that Violet was coming soon, and had little sneak previews of some of the stock and all that kind of thing, and then done a photo shoot literally 2 days before I launched the website. The website took me forever as well to set up. It took me so long, so make sure you put some time aside to do that. And yeah, on launch day, it was amazing. I was like overwhelmed with happiness and like almost cried when the first order came through. So yeah, I kind of missed out there actually that I'm not sure if I briefly mentioned it, but I did leave my job, and so I would put full commitment into starting the business. A lot of people aren't sure about doing that. It's fine if you want to keep your business, if you want to keep your other job while the first couple of months of your business start, but my advice would just to be, if you're going to start a business, you might as well go all in. The question is, do you think that you have improved as your brand has become more successful? Firstly, I just want to say that obviously the brand is quite successful for only being just over a year old, but it's nowhere near the success that I want to be or hope to be. But obviously I'm proud of where we are. I'm doing well, so I can't complain, but I definitely think I've improved a lot. There's definitely a lot of things that I done in the first year of business that I don't plan on doing in the second year of business. Good in that sense, because I've learned a lot about myself as a business owner now. There's obviously still a lot more to learn, but it's been good. It's made this year more successful. So I definitely think I've improved. The aesthetic of the pages and the social media pages and the website have also improved, but again, there's a long way to go with that. I'm still learning as the days go on, and I think the stock's a lot better this year as well. The quality of the products, the actual products themselves, and even just the way that they're styled is a lot better than the previous year. I mean, last year I loved the stock just as much. I would never sell anything that I don't personally love, but yeah, I just think this year's just going more smoothly than last year. So the next question is, do you have a business degree? And no, I don't have a business degree. I actually left school when I was 15, and education just was not for me. Didn't want to stay on, did not want to go to college or university. It all comes down to the fact that I just don't deal well with authority. I just don't like it. So no, I don't. It depends what business you go into, I suppose, but I just didn't feel like I needed one. I thought maybe I would need to know a little bit about taxes and accounting just until I can take someone else on to do that, but I managed to do all of my own taxes and everything this year. That's me. I'm not even really good with numbers. Maths isn't my strong point, so I think as long as you've got a little bit of knowledge about the field that you want to go into, that you want to pursue, then you don't need a degree. The question got asked quite a lot, and it's funny because I've never really been asked it before until now, but it is, how did you come up with the name Wild Violet? So obviously at the time I started my business, I was with my boyfriend, and I was genuinely thinking too hard at the beginning about what to call the business. I had no idea. I was like, should I even add the clothing part? Should I don't know, like I went back and forth so much that it drove me literally insane. I didn't sleep for weeks. And then I was scrolling down my Instagram page one day, as you do, and noticed like a photo of a bunch of flowers, and it was the first flowers that my boyfriend had ever bought me, and they had wild violets in the bouquet. And I just thought that had a nice ring to it, and it stuck. Like no other name that I was coming up with was right. Someone else has asked, what's the worst thing about owning your own business? There are a lot of cons and there are a lot of pros. Probably the main thing that stands out to me is the fact that obviously when you have these ideas, like they kind of flow out of me at this point, but you put them out for the world to see. So my social media pages are all public, the website's public, anyone can go and take your idea or do what you've been doing, and it's especially when it's a staple thing that you've had within your business, and you see another brand that's come up locally or even big brands, and they kind of pinch your idea. That's not fun. Yeah, so that's probably one thing I don't like. But you know, they say copy or be copied, and certainly not copying anyone. You just have to learn not to let the whole other people stealing your idea thing like grate on you that much, because at the end of the day it will happen. It's happened to me quite a lot, so as long as you know that you're doing it 100 times better than that person, that's what I have to say. The other thing is working on your own. Like I enjoy being alone, I'm a bit of a loner anyway, but obviously within a work environment I'm used to having a team around me. I miss my team that I used to have in my previous job, and it's just nice when you can bounce off of someone else. But again, that's something that can be fixed and will come with time. So this question, someone's asked hopes for the future of Wild Violet. It's funny because I don't want to get, like, I want to be successful. I don't want it to get to the point where the business is too big and it's out of my control a little bit. I never want to have any VCs come in, take any percentages of it. I still want to just trade as me, just owning the business, and that's it. But like, well, look at Ben Francis, who knows? I mean, he's like worth stupid money, and he took the venture capital route, so you just don't know what's going to happen. But I just want to make sure that I've still got the same qualities and that the brand still has a personality, because a lot of people think that when you start a business that you need to be this straight-laced, like, don't swear, but yeah, like no swearing allowed, like you're not allowed an opinion or anything. That's not how I run my business. Like, obviously you'll look through the Instagram page, there's quite a lot of swearing on there, and I still have an opinion on things, but I just don't want to get to a point where I feel like I can't do that. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to having a nice office, a little team, and bringing out as many products as possible and extending our size ranges and all that kind of thing. Obviously a petite section is something I've wanted since day one, because I'm only 4'10". I find it even difficult to wear a lot of the things just now, because we only have the certain size ranges. But yeah, that's definitely one of the paths that I wanted to at least go down by the end of this year. I'm just excited for everything. Someone has asked, what big bloggers have you worked with? I don't know if I agree with just working with a huge blogger because they've got loads of money. I much rather would work with people who love my products and support the brand and support me as a person before I even get to know them as a blogger. So I think probably the most known person would be Lois White that we've worked with, and she was so nice and lovely. But that was just a one-time thing when I first started the business, and she did help grow the following quite a bit. Obviously working with bloggers and influencers can help massively, especially if you have the right ones for your brand and if they've got the right personality and the right appeal to your customer base. But there's a lot of people who just want free stock, and I'm just not here for it, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm just not. I want to work with someone who's actually got a bit about them and isn't just a plank of wood wearing a dress. And literally just use the Instagram marketing tools that they have. Like Instagram, advertisement on Instagram, I would totally I back that all the time. Don't really use it much anymore because I don't have the volume of stock right now. Like, it just literally sells out like that, which obviously is a good problem to have, but there's no point in me promoting the posts when I only have a few sizes left in each item. So, but at the beginning I used the adverts quite a lot, and it does get a lot of traffic to your Instagram page, your Facebook page, and also your website. The next question is, does someone do your Instagram page for you? No one does my Instagram for me, no one markets for me. Obviously, like I said previously, I do everything on my own. I do know that a lot of brands, clothing or hairdressers or anything like that, they use marketing companies to help, and they do their social media pages and they set their websites up and basically help them out in that way. But I just don't feel like I need it. I don't feel like it would be authentic, really. I think if you want your personality and you want it to be unique to like the customers that you're trying to aim for, I would do your own marketing until you get someone that's just for you, that doesn't work for anyone else. I just feel like I wouldn't like the thought of someone giving my ideas that I wanted for my page to another business and so on and so on, and I just feel like it would all just start to look a bit samey. Yeah, I just think if you want to keep it authentic and keep it original, do your own. So someone else has asked, do you want to open up a shop one day? I can literally just with so much confidence say no. It's never been in my thoughts to have a boutique or a shop or anything like that. I wanted to start a business purely to get out of that. I obviously worked in shops before and could see how rapidly customers were decreasing, sales were decreasing. The demand is so much harder on staff in stores. Pressure on staff inside a store was so much harder because like businesses just weren't making profit and they weren't doing their last year's sales. So I think it's a difficult and tough space to be in at the moment. So purely online is where Will Violet will stay. Someone has asked, you talk openly about your mental health, and I wondered how you deal with that and a business. So I've touched on this on a post. I had a big post, I think it was just November last year. I took like a 2-3 month break off over Christmas because of that reason. It just, there's been times where I've thought, oh, I've finally got a handle on my mental health. For me, it's panic attacks, not so much anxiety anymore, but it used to be, and depression. So there will be days that I am not as motivated as other days, but the way I deal with that basically is just when I know that I'm having a day where I'm good, or like a week where I'm doing well, I will cram as much work in to those days and those weeks as possible, because I know that I'm going to have to make time for me having down days. I guess the thing is that you can't predict when it's going to happen, and that's why it's difficult working on your own sometimes as well, because you don't have anyone else to obviously lean back on when I could have done that previously. At the same time, I've had it for that long. I've dealt with it probably about 9 years now, and like I've had it that long now that I already had my coping mechanisms in place before I started the business, so I know what to do, what not to do when I have a down day. But if you want to obviously know a little bit more about that, it's try not to make this too long of a video, so I'll probably do a separate thing with that. So if you do want to hear a little bit more about that and how I deal with it, and just the reality of it really, because it still goes on, even though all you see is this part of me. It does go on behind the scenes, so I can definitely, if it's going to help someone, I'd like to talk about it. But yeah, just leave like a little comment. Next question was actually a DM because it was quite long, so I'm just going to read a little bit of it out here. I was kind of just looking for advice from you. I've been researching to start my own brand, all things beauty, and it's sending me around the bend. I've basically not even started. I feel like giving up. I can't find anything I like. I don't know if I'm just being too picky or if I just can't find anything I would be willing to sell or buy. Did you feel like this when you were starting out? I know it's two different types of things, but I'm just looking for reassurance. So obviously I can confirm that happens to all of us. It happened to me. It still happens to me. Even I'm in the middle of looking for new packaging, trying to even just find that drives me insane. But when it comes to products, you need to remember that although that you have to love the product yourself, but at the same time you need to put yourself in customer shoes. That's one thing I learned really early on as a visual merchandiser. I was 16, 17. So I actually worked in Debenhams, so obviously you can imagine that the customer base was extremely varied in age and gender and everything. So the one thing I always remember being drilled into me at the very beginning was put yourself in the customer's shoes. You might not necessarily wear something, sorry, someone just walked past my window, but it can still be nice. There's so many things that I'm like, I would never wear, I'd never get away with that, but that would look amazing on this person or that person, and that's what you need to think. Like, you can't be thinking, I wouldn't buy that, so no, I'm not getting it. You're not shopping for yourself, you're shopping for your business. There's just some things that you need to prioritise what you should be worrying about, what you shouldn't be. If you're really freaking out about a certain colour of your packaging bags over like an extremely important part of your business, which might be like the website that you need to get up and running, which is actually going to create revenue, you need to like prioritise those things and maybe think, well, do you know what, it's actually not as bad as I thought. I'll need to put a bit more energy into my website than I do my packaging. Do you know what I mean? Just prioritising can be difficult, but it is important. Also remember that no matter how far in your business you are, you can change stuff. Just because you make a decision at the beginning doesn't necessarily mean you stick with that. Look at me, I had my logo for roughly 8 months and thought, absolutely I hate it. Even the logo that I've changed now, that was temporary, so I'm still to actually speak to some graphic designers and get a new logo set up, but you can rebrand it anytime, you can change whatever you want. That's the beauty of having your own business. Second last question is, what do you love best about your business? This is the hardest question ever because I love everything. Like, I'm so proud of what I've created and what the business means and what I've become. It's just, I don't know, I just feel like Wild Violet is not just a fashion brand, and it's been like this since day one as well. This isn't even just something that's just developed overnight. It has always been a community and always been like a big group of friends. Every single one of my customers, like, I will consider my friend, I'm not kidding. I have the most loyal customers in the world as well. People that just buy time and time again. Anytime I bring out new stock, they're on it straight away. And like I said previously as well, I just enjoy the fact that I have the freedom to just be who I want to be within the brand Instagram. We can put up swear words and not offend customers, or we have opinions about things. Like, I put up quite often things about mental health, obviously, about men's mental health as well, which is really important. Obviously, like, if you're a racist or something, like, you're not entitled to an opinion, but I like that in the brand. It gives it a bit of a raw edge, and my customers allow me to be that way as well, which is amazing. So and even just the fact that I have the freedom to create an event with all of my customers. Like, obviously we'll have the event coming and it's going to be on the 5th of September, which is a Saturday. Please don't tell me I got that date wrong, because I will honestly ship myself. I think it's quite groundbreaking as well. I haven't really heard of any other brands doing something like this, so I'm quite excited for that part of it, and I want to bring more events. Okay, so we are on to the last question, and I can only apologise for the lighting. My LED light has just run out of battery on me and the sun's gone dim, so I'm just left with my overhead light. So the last question is, what are your 3 biggest business regrets so far? God, I'm really outing myself here. But the biggest one is that I started with a decent amount of money. Like I say, you have to have money when you start the business. And I started with a decent amount. It wasn't an insane amount, but it was a decent amount of money, and I didn't spend it very well. A lot of it was spent obviously on stock, which is it's fine. But there was probably like half left still. Honestly, like I can't even remember what that went on. It was like the most pointless things ever that I got that I thought I would need, like A4 frames, clothing rails, like loads and loads of hangers, which I don't use. Obviously I just keep everything folded up anyway. I've got like a little stock cupboard, so that's the biggest one. But hey, we'll live and learn. We'll never do that again. The second regret, this is difficult. I think when I first started, I think this was like the second week, before I knew what I knew about marketing and advertising and influencers, this will actually be where some of the money went that is not accounted for and doesn't make any difference to my sales at all. I paid an influencer, she probably had just over 70k followers. I paid her a good amount of money for a post, and it was literally just a story post. And I'm literally, so the said influencer also said that she didn't take product, she literally just screenshotted your Instagram page and put it on her page, on her story. So she wasn't even wearing any of my products. It was literally just a screenshot of my page, which had about 3 photos on it at the time, not as many followers as who I was following, and yeah, it made no difference to my revenue, no difference to my followers. It was up on her story for 24 hours and she got a decent amount of money from me for that. Don't do it, just don't do it. Yeah, live and learn. Third and final regret, this is really difficult. I don't have that many things that I regret doing. It's probably just not starting it sooner. I know that's a bit of an out, but I wish I'd started my business sooner. I wish I'd saved up money since I started work. So if you're young and you're just starting out and you want to open your business, literally just save now. So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you if you're still watching. Like, I don't know why. I have the worst habit of just rambling. Like, someone will ask me a question and I'll go on to X, Y, and Z before you even answer the question first. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I know I've been a little bit shy in this, I've talked a lot, but I'm feeling a little bit quiet in this video, but I'm still getting used to the whole thing. I always thought filming yourself speaking was really cringe. So yeah. Bye!